Faf du Plessis will have a huge role to play. He was in and out of the side not too long ago. Now he's very much there. What his numbers been like recently in terms of what all he's done? And have a look at August 2019. South Africa Men's Cricketer and ODI Cricketer of the Year award. Then rested for that T20I series in India in September. Became the first South African captain to suffer an innings defeat since 2010. They were beaten 3-0 by India in that test series in October. Then his test career average drops below 40 for the first time, and that's usually a good benchmark of where you are in test cricket. That dismal test run continues. He steps down in February 2020, and this is sort of a chronological sequence of Faf du Plessis in the last 8 months or so. And then he finally comes back into the ODI squad, was not considered for the Australia and England series. So again, for Faf du Plessis, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, especially if you consider the award he got in August.
Right now, roller coasters all the way down. No, it happens, and particularly I find it interesting, and I don't know why this is. This is even truer for sometimes I've seen for South African players for some reason when they've that plummet in form, and from August, from being Player of the Year to being what he is in January, February this year, is just, and look, a lot of it is not his fault. I mean, that series against India, they had a really tough time. It was an inexperienced side. There were too many injuries. They were just not good enough. The problem is you're not just a batsman out there, you're a batsman and a captain. You're going to every press conference. You get wary just trying to, keep the team cheerful, keep the team up. So there's lots of, there's so much on his head. So I think he's benefited from not having that mantle of captaincy. I think he might have turned around and said, look, this is enough. Let me get my batting form back, then we'll think about everything else.
Yeah, I chatted with some people from the South African journalistic fraternity, and initially they were saying, listen, Faf's the kind of guy who will not just relinquish the captaincy after a loss. But after a point in time, I think it was probably good for the whole team that he did that and also got some runs under his belt.
Well, you look at the history of cricket and you'll know that, there are plenty of examples of actually good players taking the pressures of not able to take the pressures of captaincy. They've been made captain, and then they've kind of lost the way how they used to go about their doing their business in terms of their preparation. It can hamper that. There are certain players who flourish with the pressures of captaincy, and certain players actually get bogged down, or the captaincy pressure can weigh you down. I think in Faf's case, it has the later has happened. So captaincy pressure he couldn't really live up to, and now he can actually start afresh. We've always known what kind of player Faf is. The record also shows that. It's just about clearing your mind and starting afresh. When you're just focusing on your game, going about doing your routines of things, and let someone else drive the ship. So that is something which I'm hopeful of, because Faf is a fantastic player. The record shows that, and South African team needs him. They need his experience in that group. To calm the nerves down, to share the pressures of putting up that total together. So I think it will be a good move for South Africa to bring Faf back into the setup and just helping him through this process of starting afresh.
And that's the one thing you never lose. You don't lose the captain. I mean, even if he's relinquished the captaincy, if he's on the field, he's still very much part of the setup to chat with Quinton and the others.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you still have a guy who can think like a captain, but who's not taking the emotional burden of being a captain. So you've got a good strategic brain, and that's happened with India for so many years. I'm sure of Ganguly at his peak, he had always had you turn down and tell Sachin, who should I bring on, what should I do? And Sachin was always there for him. That's the thing. Jacques Kallis almost never, he doesn't want to captain South Africa, but he was such an important player in the field in terms of, we could try this, we could do this, we could change that. And this is what they have. I think it's good for South African cricket. And who knows, in 1 year's time, form may have changed, something may have changed. I think he's getting on in years, so maybe not coming back to that captaincy. But I think he definitely has at least 3-4 productive years of cricket in him.